At the same time, I couldn't ask for a better family of in-laws on my husband's side from Tuscaloosa. They're amazing people, and the only thing I hold against them is they're an Alabama fan.
Well, the Phillips also have two daughters, one an LSU grad and the other is currently a student at LSU. Now, outside of the LSU-Bama matchup, Jim says he roots for LSU, knowing most of his household pulls for the Tigers. I think that makes him a smart man when he's not rooting for Alabama. Well, don't forget, we are your Go Nation headquarters, and we have everything you need to get ready for the game, from the coaches to the fans and all the trash talk. You can get it all on the free BR Proud app. It's available in Google Play or the App Store, and when you download it, or if you already have it, don't forget to go to Customize Alerts so you can get breaking news, weather, and sports in the palm of your hand.
Now to some developing news. A former Livingston Parish Sheriff's deputy accused of child sex crimes has been relocated for security reasons. Dennis Perkins is now being kept at the Hunt Correctional Center in Iberville Parish, which is a state-run prison. Department of Corrections spokesperson says Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard requested the move. Perkins had been at the Ascension Parish Jail since his arrest nearly 2 weeks ago after being transferred from Livingston Parish for his own safety. Meanwhile, the wife of Perkins is set to make another court appearance. Cynthia Perkins will face a judge tomorrow morning at 9 for a status hearing. She's being held without bond. Her attorney says all of this has been difficult for her client as she works to process, for the client that is, as she works to process the allegations against her. Perkins' attorney also saying that her memory of the events are different than what's being portrayed in the media. Cynthia and her husband Dennis are facing multiple child pornography charges.
Now to our other big story of the day. President Trump in the air right now on his way to Monroe to support Eddie Rispone.
Yeah, he's speaking at the Monroe Civic Center this evening. It is anticipated to be a packed house there as the arena is configured to hold around 7,500 people. We're told crowds started showing up around 10:30 this morning, and there were at least 1,200 people already outside at that point.
Now, the rally has the feel of a college football tailgate, with folks camping out in lawn chairs, food trucks lining the parking lot outskirts, and President Donald Trump's signature color, red, being worn by a lot of people out there. You can even see it in this video. Of course, the president is there tonight rallying support for Republican gubernatorial candidate Eddie Rispone.
It's time for a new approach, somebody that has a business mindset, that's willing to think outside the box and cut through the red tape.
Louisiana will be a second home of sorts for the president by the middle of next week. He was in Lake Charles on October 11th and is holding another rally in Bossier City on November 14th.
A lift to the polls. How one Southern University program is making sure that students vote during the early voting period right now. You are watching NBC Local 33 News at 5. Back right after this.
You're watching NBC Local 33 News with Sean Burns, Dion Guillory, Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel, and Brian Holland with sports.
Well, Louisiana voters have a few positions to fill between now and Election Day, and we're not just talking about the governor's race. Outgoing Republican State Representative Franklin Foyle and Democrat Beverly Brooks Thompson are vying for the seat in Senate District 16. The Baton Rouge-based district includes much of the LSU campus. Tonight at 6, catch where the candidates stand on education, the state economy, and on keeping the legislature a civil body.
Southern University students getting some help to take advantage of early voting. The university is offering bus rides for students to get to the polls. It's all part of Proud to the Polls, sponsored by a few school organizations. Students can take the buses from the student union every day this week from noon until 3. All right, let's get a check of the traffic situation with Jesse Gunkel. And Jesse, the bridge, always a problem spot.
Yeah, again, very heavy this evening. As you see behind me, traffic moving in that eastbound direction extends well to the other side of the river at this point. Again, we're looking all the way past LA 415 at this point. LA 1 is backed up all the way towards Bruley and Addis. So again, very slow getting into the city. Once you get past that point, it opens up a little bit around the LSU lakes, but expect to hit the brakes as soon as you get to about I-12 and Drusilla. Traffic from there is backed up all the way to Sherwood Forest. Just make sure you buckle up and drive safely tonight. This traffic has been sponsored by the Murphy Law Firm. Well, here you go. Big picture out there. We're going to see a nice mild day with temperatures returning back into the upper 70s by tomorrow afternoon. We're going to look for a few spotty storms. Another cold front will bring some showers tomorrow night. And then once that front pushes through, our temperatures quickly plunge going into the weekend. We're talking more lows in the 30s. We'll have your big picture after the break.
And now, your Storm Tracker team forecast with Jesse Gunkel.
Welcome back. Well, as you take a look ahead, we're going to go with temperatures this evening staying very warm out there. We're going to also see a few more clouds. You can kind of see them off in the distance right now. So clouds will increase as we head into the morning hours down to about 61. Also look for some areas of fog. Could be a little bit thick in a couple spots heading out the door tomorrow, so please drive with caution. Otherwise, we're going to call for a nice mild day heading into tomorrow. As you see here, a pretty gorgeous sunset outside. Sky's almost on fire right now. 73 outside. We've got our winds out of the east-northeast now at about 5 miles per hour. But notice the almanac. We hit 79, just shy of 80 again this afternoon. 75 is normal, and we started out at a very mild 53 degrees. But looking down the road, once that cold front arrives, notice how our temperatures will quickly drop. Seeing a little bit of snow across the upper Great Lakes here, but a lot of areas already below freezing. And a lot of this cold air is going to drop into southern Louisiana by the time we roll into the weekend. Friday night, we once again fall back into the 30s. So the next 12 hours, you see here, temperatures still very mild. Enjoy it while it lasts. We've got 78 tomorrow, then that front pushes through by tomorrow evening. A couple storms, and then temperatures quickly sink. 58 for that high on Thursday, 61 on Friday. We're back into the upper 60s for a short period over the weekend. Get things done over the weekend. Bring in those tropical plants, because as soon as we head into Monday, Tuesday, highs will sit in the 40s and 50s. That's right. Those are highs, 40s, 50s. Overnight lows, we're talking below freezing going into early next week. So here's the big picture out there. I want to show you the next 6 to 10 day trend. We're talking temperatures for a good chunk of the nation well below normal. Again, we're talking some areas even record overnight lows. And again, this is just the first of 2 cold fronts. This is the one that's going to bring us a little bit of rain going into the afternoon and evening hours of tomorrow. A lot of those storms will clear by the time we roll in early on Friday, maybe a lingering shower. Otherwise, clearing skies, cold north winds out. Really, again, as we head into those afternoon hours of Friday, but dry over the weekend, that's the good news. Also dry in T-Town, and then going into Monday and Tuesday, our next little thunderstorm, and that will, again, quickly drop our temperatures on the backside of that system as it pushes through. So as you look at the big picture out there, Thursday, we've got some showers and thunderstorms. Nothing expected to be severe, but there could be a heavy pocket or two. Then we get cold front number 1. That'll bring our temperatures down going into Friday and the weekend. And then that secondary cold front arrives, and that's the one that's going to bring that Arctic blast to the area, and that's where we quickly watch our temperatures plummet by next week. Until then, our tropics right now for the next 5 days will be nice and quiet outside. Tonight we're talking 60 degrees outside, increasing clouds. Look for some areas of fog. 78 on Thursday, some spotty storms heading into the afternoon. Winds out of the west at about 5 to 10. We partnered up with iHeartRadio Baton Rouge to get your weather on the go. And here is that 7-day picture for you. Again, a lot going on, so please pay close attention. We've got 78 out there heading into your Thursday. Look for a few scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms down to 53. Again, on the backside of that front, notice the difference in temperatures. We're talking highs only in the upper 50s by Friday afternoon. By Friday night, we're back into the 30s. Some 60s, pretty gorgeous over the weekend, very fall-like. However, again, another strong cold front moves in Monday, and notice the difference. Highs in the 40s and 50s, and overnight lows, we're talking freezing or even below. So, yeah, we could even see by Wednesday night temperatures in the 20s. Oh. We've just fast-forwarded to winter.
I need a new coat.
What month is this again?
Yeah, no, it's looking better and better now that we could see Wednesday night temperatures dipping at least into the upper 20s and lower 30s. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, if you've got tropical plants, anything that needs a little extra love, bring them in this weekend.
Now, so you don't have to worry about it.
Prepare to cover them, too. All right, sports is next.
This is Sports Director Brian Holland with your Go Nation report.
The ties between these two schools, they certainly go back. But what about now LSU head coach Ed Orgeron and man of Louisiana playing in crimson? Apparently that could have been a possibility with former Alabama head coach Bear Bryant recruiting Orgeron there in high school until someone else stepped in.
Bear was going to come to my house. My daddy said, nope. It would probably been big. I forgot the assistant coach that recruited me. And he said, Coach, we want to come home visit. I asked my daddy, he said, that's the way it should be. I wish it was like that today.
Oh, we'll probably be out there near that Bear Bryant statue. They already have one for Nick Saban. I still do not understand that. But we're going to be out there with your Go Nation coverage live at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, right here on your Louisiana Go Nation. By the way, a big rivalry in high school football. This is one of my favorite. East Ascension, Santa Ma. Oh, it's a special atmosphere out there at the pit. And oh, by the way, tonight, here's your little sneak peek of our ride-along feature.
A lot of, split families, as they call it, that, husband went to EA, wife went to Santa Ma, vice versa, and, it means a ton. This is huge for us. It's always a big game because it's EA, but there's a lot at stake. There's a chance to finish second in the district, and then a winning record, it'll sew that up, and then the other thing it'll do is it'll get us in the playoffs. So, I mean, if our kids can't get ready with all those things, then we're not going to get ready. But we expect a good game Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Now, last year they were at the pit. This year they're there in Gonzales at EA. So, still a good game.
There are a lot of houses divided this week.
And by the way,
yes,
East Ascension, Santa Ma, either could easily be ranked. It's going to be a heavyweight bout.
We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, can't wait to see it. A big scoring game, or defensive, or both?
Those games, you're always coming out black and blue. Yeah, it's 3 hours and a cloud of dust.
All right, a lot of touchdowns. We'll be right back with more on your forecast.
Welcome back. Well, we've got a mild night. Temperatures remain in the 60s. The only hazard, a little bit of fog. However, tomorrow we're going to look for a couple storms heading into the afternoon. Majority of the rainfall will arrive tomorrow night. It should push out early on Friday, but on the backside of that cold front, that's what's going to produce those showers over the next 24 hours. We've got some chilly temperatures going into the weekend, and it only gets colder going into next week, and that's what we're going to have to start talking about, freezing temperatures.
Oh, all right.
Not just cold temperatures, actual freezing temperatures.
All right, that's going to do it for us. NBC Nightly News is next.
Don't forget to download the BR Pod app for news, weather, and sports when you want it. See you at 6.
LSU! Sure can. Can you hear me? Are you seeing me? Are you hearing me? Go ahead, a little bit louder, man. It's really loud in here. Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Coming up, heading to the boot, President Trump is on his way to Louisiana to rally behind GOP contender for Louisiana governor. We'll have a look at the crowd gathered for his arrival. And behind enemy lines, one Alabama fan shares his story of bleeding crimson red here in Louisiana, plus a couple who says they are a house divided over LSU and Bama. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for Fox 44 News at 5:30. I'm Carly Lang. My co-anchor Chad Sabity has the day off. Happening tonight, President Trump. He is on his way here to Louisiana. You're taking a look right now at video of the president leaving Washington, D.C. just a couple of hours ago. The president is scheduled to attend a rally in Monroe tonight to help stump for Republican gubernatorial candidate Eddie Rispone. We'll have live reports coming up a little bit later in our newscast. But first, another big story this week, the big matchup here in Tuscaloosa between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the LSU Tigers. It's sure to gain some attention of professional scouts. Go Nation's Brian Holland joins us with a rundown of all those prospects. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Carly. Doesn't it always? There's plenty of talent in this game year in and year out. But this week, I heard one NFL scout say he had over 20 top prospects between the two rosters that were still being scouted as high-round draft picks. That means Alabama and LSU could supply up to 10% of this upcoming NFL draft in those first 2 days. Now, the problem in the past couple of years for the Tigers has been the difference in the talent along the offensive and defensive lines. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron even admitted as much, rather. But if you listen to Coach O this week, sounds like more like quiet confidence.
Those guys are going to come ready to play. I believe in these guys. I would not want anybody else in the country on our offense or our defense than our football team that we have right here. I believe in these guys. You can tell by the rankings, it looks like we made up some ground, but, you know, we still got to beat them. I mean, that's you still got to beat them. You still got to go through them to win the SEC West and get the SEC championship. We've had some tests this year. We've answered the bell.
Cannot wait for this one. Your Fox 44 coverage actually starts tomorrow there from Tuscaloosa. Tonight here in just a few minutes, though, on your Fox 44 Sports, we'll preview your football Friday night game of the week. Another rivalry just down here in the Red Stick. Carly?
All right, Brian, thank you. Well, meanwhile, the hype around the big game and the president attending that game even has Coach O excited. Today, during a teleconference, when asked about President Trump rooting for LSU, Coach O says he thinks it's best the president remain neutral.
And, I think it's good, man. If the president wants to come to a big game like this, it's good. I just hope he sits right there in the middle and cheers for both sides.
Now, keep in mind, if you are heading to Tuscaloosa for the game, the gates at Bryant-Denny Stadium will open at 11 on Saturday. This is all due to heightened security with the president's visit. Our team coverage continues tonight on the big game. This weekend's matchup between LSU and Alabama has passionate fans, of course, on both sides. But what happens when two teams' fans live under one roof? Fox 44's Crystal Whitman has more on how Alabama fans are faring here in Tiger Country.
It's very interesting, very challenging, but all you got to do is just say roll tide often, and that'll either get you out of trouble or in trouble.
Glennis Naro of Baton Rouge proudly displays her love of the Crimson Tide.
Usually I wear red and white to work a lot. I have a lot of houndstooth in my closet, so I can always wear that. I probably have enough for at least 2 weeks for something every day.
Naro lives next to a unique Baton Rouge couple where only one of them will be celebrating after this weekend's matchup between LSU and Alabama. The husband is also a diehard Alabama fan, but the woman he married is an LSU fan.
No roll tide for me at all. I am an LSU Tiger fan through and through, born and raised here. Love Louisiana. It is home.
Sheila Phillips says even though they cheer against each other's teams, the game always brings them together as a family.
I couldn't ask for a better family of in-laws on my husband's side from Tuscaloosa. They're amazing people, and the only thing I hold against them is they're an Alabama fan.
Crystal Whitman, Fox 44 News.
Now be sure to join us this Friday. Our sports team will have live coverage of the game from Tuscaloosa. And don't forget to download our free Be Our Proud app. It has everything you need to know to get ready for the game. We'll also be pushing out scores, and you can have that at the palm of your hand during the big game on Saturday. It is free to download. You can find it in the App Store as well as on Google Play. Well, turning to developing news tonight, a former Livingston Parish Sheriff's deputy accused of child sex crimes has been relocated for security reasons. Dennis Perkins is now being kept at the Elaine Hunt Correctional Center in Iberville Parish. That's a state-run prison. The Department of Corrections says Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard requested that transfer. Now, since his arrest 2 weeks ago, Perkins has been held at the Ascension Parish Jail. That happened after being transferred from Livingston Parish for, quote, his own safety reasons. And meanwhile, we are learning new information about Perkins' wife, Cynthia Perkins. She's scheduled to make another court appearance. She will face a judge tomorrow morning for a status hearing at 9 o'clock. Perkins is being held without bond after agreeing to waive her bond last week. Now, her attorney says all of this has been difficult for her and that her memory of the events are different than what's being portrayed. Cynthia and her husband, Dennis, are both facing multiple charges of child porn. Well, turning to your local election headquarters, Louisiana voters are 10 days away from electing or re-electing a governor. The Republican Party is hoping President Trump's visit tonight to Louisiana will help rally votes for Eddie Rispone. And that's where we find Fox 44's Dan Jovic. He joins us live from the Monroe Civic Center. Dan, what's the atmosphere out there?
Well, Carly, it's an absolute packed house here tonight. People are still streaming through the doors of the Civic Center this evening. This facility holds about 7,500 people. Based on the crowds that we saw outside of the facility, I wouldn't be surprised if they ultimately have to turn people away. My crew and I arrived here around 10:30 this morning. Already there were 1,200 people. I caught up with two women from Bossier City who arrived about an hour earlier than I did. They said 800 people were in line in front of them. This rally really has the feel of a college football tailgate, with folks camping out in lawn chairs, food trucks lining the parking lot outskirts, and Trump's signature color red being worn by so many people. Of course, the president is here tonight rallying support for Republican gubernatorial candidate Eddie Rispone in Congressional District 5. It's that district that is represented by Congressman Ralph Abraham, who is Rispone's Republican challenger in the primary, and it could prove crucial come election night. How those who once supported Abraham ultimately vote could very well decide who becomes the next governor of this state. Now, I spoke this evening with many people who say the president arriving here will have an impact come election day.
It's time for a new approach, somebody that has a business mindset, that's willing to think outside the box and cut through the red tape.
To keep the Russians out of our elections, to keep illegals out of our elections.
Well, Louisiana is kind of a second home of sorts for the president. It'll be so by the middle of next week. He was in Lake Charles on October the 11th. He's holding another rally in Bossier City on November the 14th. That means he'll have 3 visits to the state of Louisiana in the span of 34 days. Back here now live, Carly, Eddie Rispone will be with the president on the stage this evening. A little bit earlier, one of Monroe's favorite sons, Willie Robertson, took to the stage, and Attorney General Jeff Landry also spoke. Festival-like atmosphere here inside of the Monroe Civic Center. Reporting now live in Monroe, Dan Jovic, Fox 44 News. Carly, I'm going to float back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you. Well, coming up tonight, fight to the finish. We'll hear from candidates for a state Senate seat, what they're saying about the need for state finances.
And right now, traffic remains heavy coming across the Mississippi River Bridge. You can see here bumper to bumper, a lot of headlights. That means a lot of taillights if you're coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish. That goes all the way to the other side of the river. LA1 is backed up. Heading your way westbound, everything is clear and quiet from the downtown area. 110 southbound is fine. Even heading northbound out towards Baker and Zachary are looking good. The only delays out there are still just around I-12 and Drusilla. Expect to hit the brakes. Make sure you buckle up and drive safely tonight. This traffic has been sponsored by the Murphy Law Firm. Well, you go looking at the picture ahead. Tonight we're going to stay very warm out there. The hazard, a little bit of fog heading into the early morning hours. Very mild. Tomorrow, very warm again. We're still talking upper 70s and near 80 with the possibility of a couple showers. However, tomorrow night we're tracking a cold front. That cold front moves through and we get another batch of chilly temperatures. We'll talk more about that coming up after the break. Welcome back. Well, we're still pretty warm heading into tomorrow afternoon. We're going to look for our daytime highs to climb back into the upper 70s and near 80s as we make our way into those afternoon hours. Look for the opportunity for an isolated shower or two. The majority of the rainfall will be arriving overnight with that cold front. That cold front should quickly clear. Maybe a couple lingering showers early on Friday, but on the backside of that front, once again, expect our temperatures to rapidly plunge. 73 at this hour. Very comfortable outside on your Fox 44 tower cam. A gorgeous sunset out there. We've got a few more clouds. Expect the clouds to increase through the overnight hours. Right now, our winds are sitting out of the east-northeast at 5. So here you go. 79 officially this afternoon. Very close to hitting that 80 mark. As you notice, we should be sitting around 75. Well, our temperatures are going to completely swing around, do a 180 as we enter the weekend because we're only talking highs in the 50s and 60s. Notice the temperature change. Not a lot of difference over the last 24 hours. We're just going to stay a little bit warmer this evening. We're talking because of that cloud cover moving in, overnight lows in the lower 60s and upper 50s. Also the possibility of some fog. Could be thick in a few spots, so obviously drive with caution if you have to be on the roadways very early. We go from 78 down to 58 on the backside of that front. That cold air catches up over the weekend. Should be sunny, nice, and comfortable. Low humidity levels. We're talking 60s, eventually warming back into the upper 60s. But guess what? Another punch of cold air, and we're going to be seeing an extremely strong Arctic cold front. That's right. I'm going to say all of that again. In an extremely strong Arctic cold front, and we're going to be looking at the coldest temperatures of the season so far to move in Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. By Wednesday night, we could be starting out with temperatures below freezing. And as you see here across the region, we're talking possibility of some record overnight lows. A lot of that cold air is going to sink as far south as Louisiana this time. As you see on your satellite and radar picture for the time being, a few clouds. Again, they're going to stream in from the west later on tonight. A couple showers and thunderstorms, obviously keeping an eye on that cold front as it digs into the state. Most of those showers, again, will hold off until tomorrow afternoon. So, again, tonight should be quiet out there. Just a few more clouds. Look for a couple storms on Thursday with the majority of that rainfall arriving Thursday night. The first cold front pushes through early Friday. Look for temperatures to drop over the weekend. That secondary cold front moves in on Monday. Expect some very chilly days going into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Tropical satellite picture. Still clear, still quiet out there. Nothing expected really over the next 5 days. So again, as we inch our way closer and closer to the end of the season, which officially wraps up at the end of the month, again, it looks like a pretty quiet picture out there. 61 for tonight. A few clouds. Look for some areas of fog. Pretty nice and calm. Tomorrow, look for a couple storms during the afternoon. Nothing expected to be severe, but there could be 1 or 2 strong thunderstorms out there. And again, just remember that we have partnered up with iHeartRadio Baton Rouge. Here is that 7-day picture for you. You got 78 and very warm, above average, quickly swinging to below normal by Friday with a high of 58. Most of the showers you see there will be during the morning hours. Once we get past that point, weekend looks good. Same thing here in T-Town, enemy territory. Things are still good if you're going to make the drive. But the story is obviously next week. Monday, a cold front comes through, and this is going to bring Arctic air. We may actually be seeing temperatures in the 20s.
Actual cold.
Yeah, like we're talking freezing temperatures. Like, wow. You need to take in your tropical plants this weekend. You need to, check your heat out. It's happening. Winter's arriving at this point. So, yeah, a lot more to talk about. Again, it could swing a little bit. Temperature-wise, but it still looks like it's going to be extremely cold moving into next week.
All right, we'll get ready for it. Thanks, Jesse. Well, after the break, we're going to hear from the candidates vying for the Senate District 16 seat. We'll have that story coming up next. We'll be right back. Louisiana voters have a few positions to fill between now and Election Day, and we're not just talking about the governor's race. Some people may also see legislative seats on their ballot. In Baton Rouge, 2 contenders are looking to represent Senate District 16, which includes much of LSU's campus. Both hopefuls have discussed whether the state's TOPS initiative should award scholarships by merit or by financial need.
The question is, how much can we afford? We want to afford it for our best and brightest.
There's a blend, perhaps, of financial need and merit that needs to be a part of that.
And you'll hear more from these candidates coming up tonight at 9. Voters can cast their early ballots through Saturday, and Election Day is a week from Saturday. All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll check in with Brian Holland. Lots happening in sports as we get ready for the Alabama-LSU game. That's after a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is Sports Director Brian Holland with your Go Nation report.
As they say, throw out the record books and the stats when it's a rivalry, and that's what it is there in New Orleans. The Saints getting ready to take on the Atlanta Falcons there in the Superdome on Sunday. For more on this big week there in the Crescent City, we take you down to Metairie in our Go Black and Gold report with our very own Brooke Kirchhoffer.
In recent history, the New Orleans Saints have been successful when coming off the bye week. Before taking the week off, the Saints are playing some of their best football, improving in the passing game and when defending the run. They hope to keep that momentum going as they open the second half of their season, hosting divisional rival, the Atlanta Falcons, this Sunday.
It's a little tough, definitely, because you feel like, let's keep going, let's keep winning, and then you do have that break. So it's one of those things that it's nice, but at the same time, it's like, all right, wish we could keep rolling.
We know what we have ahead of us. It's only 8 weeks left. You know, we saw how fast the first 8 went by. To see how fast these next 8 go by. So I think guys were excited to get back in the building. Guys were excited to be kind of around each other again and kind of get back to work.
The real team showed themselves in November, December, going into January. So, what we did the first half of the season doesn't matter. We're just trying to get to 1-0 this week.
For your Go Black and Gold report, I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer.
And back here in the Red Stick area, it's the final week of district play for prep football, and one of my favorite rivalries here in the area, the Gators, the Spartans, Santa Ma at East Ascension is our football Friday night game of the week, and here's a preview of our ride-along.
a lot of, split families, as they call it, that, husband went to EA, wife went to Santa Ma, vice versa, and, it means a ton. This is huge for us. It's always a big game because it's EA, but there's a lot at stake. There's a chance to finish second in the district, and then a winning record, it'll sew that up, and then the other thing it'll do is it'll get us in the playoffs. So, I mean, if our kids can't get ready with all those things, then we're not going to get ready, but we expect a good game Friday night.
Certainly is rivalry week. You can catch that right here on Fox 44 on Friday night. We'll have more news right after this.
We have a great night of primetime entertainment ahead right here on Fox 44. Tonight, it is all about The Masked Singer. 6 celebrities don their mask and take the stage, and actor Anthony Anderson joins the panel as 5 more celebrities perform. And of course, we are back here tonight at 9 with your latest weather, news, and sports. All that coming up tonight at 9. That does it for us tonight on Fox 44 at 5:30. We'll see you again later tonight. Don't forget, you can get your news, weather, and sports online at brproud.com as well as on our BR Proud app. Have a great night.
Yeah, people are trickling in this room at TJ Ribs, and it's expected to be a packed house. Coach O will be sitting at this desk going live with his radio show. His desk behind me going live with his radio show. Yes. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, people are trickling into this room at TJ Ribs, and it's expected to be a packed house. Coach O will be sitting at this desk. You see behind me at 7 o'clock. Going live with
This is your Storm Tracker Team Forecast First.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. This is your forecast first. Well, it's cold front season. Yeah, it's fall season, but it's also cold front season. And right now we're currently watching too as they are expected to slide into South Louisiana over the coming week. Here's the story. The first one comes through tomorrow night. That'll bring us a couple showers and it'll actually drop our temperatures into the 30s entering the weekend. The secondary cold front, well, that's the one that could drop us below freezing heading into next week. We're going to talk more about that coming up in just a bit. Local 33 News at 6 starts right now.
The final push, the runoff election, 9 days away. President Donald Trump minutes away himself from landing in Monroe. The supporters waiting for hours to hear him.
Plus, feeling the hype, LSU fans are preparing for what could be the game of the year. We'll have team coverage for you on how LSU and Alabama fans are getting ready.
Good evening. I'm Dion Guillory.
And I'm John Burns. Thank you for joining us tonight for NBC Local 33 News at 6.
Well, we begin tonight with team coverage on what could be the biggest college football game of the season. A lot of people even saying the century.
Yeah, Go Nation Sports Director Brian Holland's going to join us in studio to give us the X's and O's of the game. But for now, we're going to send it out to NBC Local 33's Jonah Gilmore, who's live at TJ Ribs for the Ed Ogeron Coaches Show, where the fans couldn't be more excited for the matchup. Right, Jonah?
Yeah, John, that's exactly correct. Now, people are trickling into this room at TJ Ribs where Coach O will be speaking, and as you can see, he will be sitting at that desk right over there starting at 7 o'clock going live with his radio show. People I spoke with tell me they are excited to see Coach O. Some telling me they just want to get a picture with him or even just shake his hand. As you can see, everyone here is dripping in their purple and gold, excited and ready for Beat Bama Week to end with the Tigers on top. As you can see, these people got here early to get some good seats, actually getting here 2 hours before Coach O arrives. Can you believe that? We all can, yes. But coming up tonight at 10 on NBC Local 33 News at 10, I'll tell you what these people say they are most excited about tonight. Reporting live from TJ Ribs, Jonah Gilmore, NBC Local 33 News.
Now we continue that team coverage with Go Nation Sports Director Brian Holland, who you got a little brief peek of, who joins us now with how Coach Ed Ogeron had a pretty special relationship with a former Alabama coach. Right, Brian?
John, I just wasn't ready yet. Coach O, though, is ready for this one. And can you imagine, plenty of ties between LSU and Alabama, these two schools, historic programs. But for Coach O, could you imagine him playing in Crimson? That almost happened. By the way, being recruited in high school by the Paul Bear Bryant until, well, someone put a stop to it.
Bear was going to come to my house. My daddy said, nope. It would probably been big. I forgot the assistant coach that recruited me. And he said, Coach, I want to come home visit. I asked my daddy, he said, that's the way it should be. I wish it was like that today.
The Louisiana boy staying here in state, I think, for quite a long time. Big game, though, never beaten Alabama, whether at Ole Miss or at LSU. Coming up here in sports, we're going to preview that other rivalry game just down I-10, guys.
All right, our team coverage continues of the big game. This weekend's matchup between the Tigers and the Crimson Tide has pretty passionate fans on both sides, to say the least. But what happens when the two teams' fans live under a single roof? NBC Local 33's Crystal Whitman has more on how Alabama fans are faring in Tiger Country.
It's very interesting, very challenging, but all you got to do is just say roll tide often, and that'll either get you out of trouble or in trouble.
Glennis Naro of Baton Rouge proudly displays her love of the Crimson Tide.
Usually I wear red and white to work a lot. I have a lot of houndstooth in my closet, so I can always wear that. I probably have enough for at least 2 weeks for something every day.
Naro lives next to a unique Baton Rouge couple where only one of them will be celebrating after this weekend's matchup between LSU and Alabama. The husband is also a diehard Alabama fan, but the woman he married is an LSU fan.
No roll tide for me at all. I am an LSU Tiger fan through and through, born and raised here. Love Louisiana. It is home.
Sheila Phillips says even though they cheer against each other's teams, the game always brings them together as a family.
I couldn't ask for a better family of in-laws on my husband's side from Tuscaloosa. They're amazing people, and the only thing I hold against them is they're an Alabama fan.
Crystal Whitman, NBC Local 33 News.
And Crystal tells us the Phillips also have a couple of daughters, one who's an LSU grad, the other currently a student at LSU. Outside of the LSU-Bama matchup, Jim says that's the husband. He roots for the Tigers, knowing most of his household is pulling for him.